Welcome to Reach the World ASAP. I'm Pastor Scott Griswold, and I'm excited to bring you a story fresh out of our recent trip to the crossroads of America, Indianapolis, Indiana. Last weekend, some of our workers from ASAP Ministries, Pastor Tom Evans and some of his students from the seminary at Andrews University, and various church members from the area, all of us together, we traveled 4 hours south to Indy. We wanted to visit and encourage two ethnic church plants that had been birthed at the Southside Seventh-day Adventist Church. The Burmese-speaking and Miso-speaking church groups in Indianapolis have grown up in the last 3.5 years. They're both made up primarily of members who've moved recently to America as refugees from Myanmar and new members that they've baptized. We knew that refugees have to quickly learn English, get a job, be able to pay for housing, transportation, food, and everything. It's so tough, and they work so hard. That's why our group was eager to bring them some Christmas cheer. ASAP Ministries and students at the seminary have been gathering special things for weeks. On Friday morning, Julia, Wayne, Panya, Jeanette, and anybody passing by were zooming around the office, dividing all the goodies into a certain number of boxes for each house that we were going to visit. There were pots and kettles, soy sauce and rice, warm hats and wool socks, and gifts for the children. The night before, visitors in our town's local Christmas open house had poured through our office and helped wrap those things into presents. We were really glad about that because that would make it all the more special and feel less like a charity gift when we gave it to the people. Some of us went on Friday and spent the night. The Miso members let us stay in their homes. And Jeanette from ASAP described their hospitality like this: wide open arms with a very tasty kitchen. Others drove down early Sabbath morning. There were 3 worship services to choose from. In the morning, there was the English-speaking service in the sanctuary and the Miso one in the fellowship hall. Then lunch, and right after that, the Burmese-speaking worship service. Everybody who went loved it. We couldn't sing along in the afternoon because of the Burmese script. We couldn't read. But Miso is written in letters like ours, so we joined in with the heart, even if not with the understanding. They'd invited us to speak, so everything was through a translator. Some know English really well, but others have just come to America maybe a month before. So that's why church in their own language is so important when they've just arrived. My wife Julie also mentioned, she said, I felt the spirit of love, acceptance, and friendship, even though many of them couldn't understand me. Just to smile and even give a hug was nice. Then in the afternoon, we brought in more than 20 boxes from our cars, spread them out in the church lobby so we could add a few last things, some warm blankets and school supplies. Then Pastor Sam Ngala and Pastor Chang Tu, the 2 leaders, organized us into several groups. They'd chosen families that were in special need. Some were members, most were not, but they all were happy to see us. Except for one little boy. He cried and cried. We probably looked kind of scary to him until we pulled out a present and he got to unwrap it. Then his face was filled with smiles. That was fun. Judy Aiken is ASAP's retired founder who's still going strong full-time. She organized the trip, and she told me that in one of the groups, after giving the gifts, a seminarian named Alistair shared how Jesus understood their feelings because he also had been a refugee. Judy said the people's faces just lighted up when he said that. There was an immediate bond. One mother of 3 girls lifted up a blanket that she was given and just stared at it, so thankful. Her eyes filled with tears as they prayed for her husband who was still overseas in the refugee camp. She whispered, "You've given to us. Someday we want to give to others." And surely she will. It seems all the refugees we meet are working hard to improve their lives. Gary and Cindy Scall, with their 3 children, went with us also, visited a family where the father was terribly sick with cancer. They were able to pray and encourage them too. And then one of the most heart-wrenching parts of the weekend happened to our friends, the Hosfords. They're the ones who help me every week put together this podcast. They visited several homes and came to one lady's house. She had a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and was pregnant with another. Through a translator, she described how she had just moved less than a year before from a refugee camp. She was used to being given a very small portion of rice at the camp and having to make it last all month long. She said, "It's so much better here. We have a place to stay. We have food to eat." And then the Hosfords found out that her husband had just died. He was healthy. He seemed fine. And then suddenly he died in the middle of the night. Someone figured out how to call the ambulance, but it was too late. She does not know what she's going to do. She has no job. She can't speak English. Hossfords are praying, trying to figure out what they can do to help. They've bought the Rosetta English language learning program and are planning to set it up on a computer for her. That will give her a jump start on the language. They're hoping to figure out some sort of business like microgreens or a handicraft that she can do while staying home with her 3 girls. Pray that God will help them find a way. Then we all came back to the church and shared our experiences for a few moments before they called us in for the AY Adventist Youth Evening Program. Lots of music, lots of testimonies. It went on, but it was so good. And then they wanted to feed us again. We left with full stomachs and full hearts. Don't you wish you could have joined us? I'm guessing there are some refugees not too far from you. All you have to do is look up on the internet the words refugee resettlement. You're likely to find an organization that's helping them. Just call and ask how you can help. They're eager for volunteers. Steve and Eric, the one who's preparing to go to Cambodia as a missionary with ASAP, he told me this weekend, I was impressed that the people might be living next door to me in similar rough situations as these refugees, just hoping that someone will offer help and encouragement to them. So go find them. You will love the experience. And if you want to give financially, you can call us or give online at asapministries.org. We partner with others to help various ethnic churches plant among refugees around North America. Just look for project number 506, Help the Mission, on your doorstep. You can even help open the door for one of these groups to meet in your own church. I saw real joy and enthusiasm in the eyes of the English-speaking church's pastor, Brian Yensho. It has not been easy to house 2 ethnic church plants in their facility. We could tell the halls and the bathrooms were crowded. The schedules have to be compared carefully so everybody can use the facilities at the right time. Extra repairs have to be made. But the joy comes from seeing new people baptized, knowing that they are a part of finishing that sign of the end, that the gospel will be preached in every language. So, what ethnic group is around you? Who might you open the doors of your church to? I'm sure it will be true for you, just what Jeanette said. I went to bless others, but the blessing I received exceeded that which I gave. Let's reach the world next door. Let's reach the world ASAP.